Welcome back to Invest Global. Today we're discussing my 5 flags international strategy plan, otherwise known as flag theory. Now, this term flag theory was first coined by Harry Schultz in 1964. He was really referring to just 3 flags. One for your second citizenship or backup citizenship, the other for offshore tax haven, next one really for investing or business purposes. All of these kind of work together. This was just the 3 flags, but recently people have kind of come out, they've discussed more versions of flags, talking about lifestyle, residency, setting up offshore banking, business, keeping this all separate. The idea is no single point of failure. So if you're familiar with the concept of Six Sigma, basically what pilots use to analyze data to lower risk factors, this is kind of similar to your offshore strategy plan when it comes to planning your life, planning where you're going to spend your time, your energy, all things I focus here on Invest Global, because it's not just about investing capital when you really think about it in these countries. A lot of it, in my personal opinion, is also really investing your time and your energy in different businesses. I'll be going through each of the continents I'm personally most interested in. First going through South America, Asia, Africa, and then Europe. Those are really the first 3 are kind of the primary focuses. Europe, I'm kind of putting more on the back burner. Currently, I think this year we'll see a lot of volatility. That will provide for a lot of opportunity to those who really can watch the markets, can really enter in quickly, who understand foreign direct investment flows and everything we talk about here on Invest Global. So let's get started with my international strategy plan when it comes to flag theory. First, South America. So we have Colombia, Uruguay, and Prospera, Honduras. Those are kind of the 3 primary ones, and each of the individual countries can fit into many of the 5 flag kind of categories, but that's a basic framework we're running with. I will be doing update videos throughout this. I'm kind of in the early stages of my life, so setting up a lot of these things early, making sure, a lot of the clients I work with, they're, in their older ages, their 40s, 50s, 60s, and basically, they're setting up things a bit too late. I'm looking at setting up things early in my life so I can have this optimize my business moving forward. The first one I want to start off with here is Colombia. So I have an import-export business here focused on mushroom coffee and nutrition. Colombia is really abundant when it comes to biodiversity, really second in the world when you compare it to Brazil. And there's a lot of opportunity here when it comes to abundance of food, abundance of amazing products, especially when it comes to coffee. I'm here in the coffee axis actually currently. I'm working with some local farmers, getting some things set up for international trade and exporting to different continents like Europe, North America, looking at getting some things in Asia and Africa as well. And I'll continue on with Uruguay. So Colombia is really the business setup here in South America. Uruguay is more of the residency or tax haven setup. Very good for offshore banking as well, so it kind of fits in 2 of those flag categories. Beyond Uruguay, we have Prospera, Honduras. Very, very interesting project. Not technically a country. Honduras is very, very interesting because they have this ZA Act law that allows Prospera to kind of set up e-residencies, very easy business setup, and then you can actually go there and invest in some real estate. They're very crypto friendly. So those are kind of the primary ones for South America. 2 honorable mentions would be Paraguay, and then in Central America, technically North America, Nicaragua and Panama are also interesting. Paraguay, very, very good project. What they're doing with their residency options, in the past, it's mainly been this very, very easy fast track with residency, setting that up with a small, bank deposit, about $5,000 in cash. And then beyond that, you basically just hold it in the bank, get your residency, but they put that temporarily on pause. I'll be bringing some experts on the channel when it comes to all these different countries' immigration programs and discuss things here in 2023 after these new videos back on the channel. But beyond that, we're going to move on to Asia. So to start off Asia, really these are all kind of focused on emerging market investment plays and kind of business plays. Not the best place, honestly, to own property. Not the best place usually for citizenship or residencies. There are some exceptions there, but really it's going to be freehold lease. I'm more looking at the growth of Asia. So the main places I'm interested in are Cambodia, Uzbekistan, and kind of Kazakhstan in there with Uzbekistan as well for Central Asia, Mongolia, and then if you consider Turkey in there as well. Those are kind of the main ones. There's like a few honorable mentions as well. Obviously, I would put Singapore in there and Malaysia, but it's really in Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan. I'm very interested in the actual commodities that they have there and the growth kind of opening up to the world. Central Asia is very, very interesting, especially, I've talked a lot about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. There's a lot of developments there along with BRICS. So very, very interesting, the Belt and Road projects, China's new initiative, the new Silk Road, all of these things I'll be going into more detail on this channel about, but those are all countries that I'm very interested in, specifically for Asia. This video is not to go too in-depth on any of the individual countries, otherwise it'll just take too long, but the point is really to give you a brief overview of why I'm personally interested in these countries, my personal strategy plan. That's the main thing. I want to keep you focused on. So just to recap, with Asia, we have Cambodia with real estate investing. One of the issues in Cambodia is you can't technically own real estate that's touching the ground. So you have to own real estate above, so in an apartment building. And again, freehold lease is typically what you're doing in most of Asia. You have really Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan that I'm most interested in. And then beyond that, back in kind of East Asia. And that's Mongolia. I'm very interested in cashmere business there. Really, really amazing in Mongolia. They have some of the best fly fishing in the world, so that kind of fits in with my lifestyle flag as well. Mongolia is really, really amazing when it comes to fishing, and I personally love fly fishing. I grew up doing it, and that's really why it's on the list there. And then some honorable mentions would be Singapore and Vietnam. As you know, Vietnam is a very, very interesting place for emerging market investing. And Singapore is great when it comes to vaulting precious metals, setting up business, and kind of being a nice international hub, kind of, like a version of a Hong Kong or a Switzerland or a Monaco. That's kind of, how I view Uruguay going back to South America is really they're kind of the Switzerland and the Monaco of South America. So moving on to Africa. In Africa, I already have some things set up in Kenya with a real estate business. I'm working with a real estate developer. I'll be doing projects on that and videos on that moving forward, showing more things on the channel about it, visiting Kenya, showing all the different kind of projects we're working on there with the Academy, Makazi, decentralized real estate, a lot of amazing projects there. But that's really a business and lifestyle play. I love Kenya. I think it's very, very amazing. Beyond that, Tanzania, that kind of ties in with my import-export business here in Colombia for the coffee business. I really think Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania has some of the best coffee in the world. Personally, I would rank Colombia #1. I'm a little bit biased, but there you go. And then beyond that, Seychelles is kind of one of the countries in Africa that's looking at the most kind of booming economic growth. So specifically this year, I'm looking at visiting, potentially putting in some plays there, and looking at the growth as well on the ground. Beyond that, Mauritius is a good kind of honorable mention, and I'm also very interested in Rwanda. So lastly, Europe. When it comes to Europe, I'm most interested in Eastern Europe and the Balkans. I've spent kind of a month in pretty much almost all the Balkan countries. During the pandemic, I was very, very interested in looking at emerging market opportunities. Places like Kosovo, Albania, Serbia, Bosnia, Croatia, North Macedonia. There's a lot in there. Currently, Kosovo is having some issues, but I'm still very, very interested in it, and I actually really love the country. Met some amazing people there. Shout out to Edmund. Very, very great place, and I really think that's this kind of an investment, long-term focused play. I think in the short term, they may experience some issues with this whole conflict with Serbia, but it looks like early 2024, they're going to add some things with the European Union, Schengen zone, and Kosovo is going to get a lot more kind of propped up, which is very, very nice. Beyond Kosovo, we have Georgia and Montenegro. These are two countries that I absolutely love. When it comes to banking, it kind of ticks a lot of the check marks, or the boxes, if you will, when it comes to these flags. So Georgia and Montenegro fit a lot in with business, tax, offshore banking setup. These places are very, very simple to set up bank accounts. I personally have done this already. And so really when it comes to all of these, when I'm looking at them together, I already have most of my 5 flags set up, but there are a lot more that you can kind of double click on and that branch out, if you will. If you watch that video on my mind map yesterday, you kind of understand how I'm looking at the world, how I'm understanding the different countries. There's many different factors you have to analyze when it comes to sanctions, when it comes to alliances, when it comes to tax, migration, all these different things, geography, climate. There's a lot. But the main thing is you kind of craft your own plan. So I would love to hear, if you have your 5-flag international plan, let me know down below in the comments. You can join our Telegram group down below in the description. I'll be changing things up with that. Just recently returned with new videos for the year. So if you've made it this far in the video, I really, truly appreciate you for watching. I really appreciate it. When I started this channel, it was just kind of a passion project, and it's turned into something a bit more than that, especially being able to work with projects all over the world, North America, South America, Africa, Asia. I absolutely love it, and Europe as well. And there's really just a ton of things, I think, in the world that are amazing to do when it comes to business opportunities. There's actually, specifically my focus in Rwanda was this water sanitation business that I'm working with someone on currently now. Already have a lot of things developed in Kenya, but always looking for new opportunities. So if you have anything you want to speak with me directly about, you can always go to investglobal.io. We'll have a link down below in the description. You can discuss with me your project if you're interested in some of our projects, as well as flowfdi.com. That's Flow Foreign Direct Investment. FlowFDI.com basically focuses on foreign direct investment projects in different countries, incentivizing different countries to open up different programs like citizenship by investment programs or residency by investment programs in the modern age using things like blockchain technology. So a lot of interesting developments there, but that's basically all for the video. Just to do a quick recap, that was my global strategy plan going through Africa, Asia, South America, and Europe. So the main ones in Europe were Kosovo, Georgia, Montenegro. Honorable mentions there, I personally like still in Europe, is the Netherlands and Latvia. Those are very, very interesting as well. bit bad on the tax side, but it is what it is. And then beyond that, when I'm looking at, let's go back to Africa, I'm looking at Mauritius, Seychelles, Kenya, Rwanda a bit, and then beyond that, we have Asia. In Asia, I'm more looking at Mongolia, Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, mainly on the uranium play, with Kazatomprom, and beyond that, I'm drawing a blank. Oh yeah, Cambodia and Vietnam. After that, by the way, none of these videos are ever scripted. I will never do a scripted video on Invest Global, but this is all just from my memory and kind of my personal plan, which, by the way, it's a living, breathing thing, constantly changing. These are, some of them are on my watch list, like these honorable mention ones. Then returning back now to South America, and then I'll end it out. South America, we have Colombia, Uruguay, and technically Central America, North America, but Prospera and Honduras. And then honorable mentions there would be in Central America, would be Nicaragua, and Panama, and then in South America, Paraguay. So that's basically all for today's video. Thank you very much for watching.